Slime Rancher came out all the way back in 2017. Back then, Despacito was playing everywhere, Fortnite just came out, and PewDiePie was having a lot of fun on bridges.
What a fucking
That didn't seem like that long ago to me, but it's already been 7 years since then. There's been a global pandemic. But finally, about a month ago, my girlfriend introduced me to this game called Slime Rancher. I've only seen a glimpse of it through a Jacksepticeye video a few years ago, but other than that, I didn't know what I was doing. I was definitely clueless on pretty much anything and everything when it came to this game, but at least from the outside, when I was first going into it, it seemed like a pretty bright and cheerful game where you just deal with cute slimes. After playing it, I can say that's what it is with a bit more detail. It's a pretty cozy game that doesn't get too stressful, and it's a nice change of pace from the high octane action-packed games I usually play. Playing this game isn't that hard. You find slimes, suck them up, feed them, and then profit. The way you progress in this game is by exploring new areas. There's a decent amount to explore, and some areas need a fair bit of currency or money to just get through, and being a broke boy in Slime Rancher isn't too great. Now, to go into a little more detail on how you earn money, the first step is to collect slimes. You have a wide variety, and the more you explore, the more valuable slimes you can get. But right now, let's use the most common slime you see right when you start as an example, the pink slime. You suck up the pink slime using your gun, and then put them in corrals, which are just cages for slimes. That's where they are enslaved for the rest of their lives. For the most part, after you capture these slimes, all you do with them is feed them some food. Now, pink slimes are kind of cool because they eat anything you feed them, but most slimes only eat one type of food category, which there are 3 types: meat eaters, vegetable eaters, and fruit eaters. Luckily, the one slime that eats all 3 of these things is the pink slime. They eat whatever you throw at them. If you want to feed them 20 tacos all at once, you probably could if there were tacos in the game. But moving on, after you feed them, they drop these items called plorts, which you then bring over to a little plort market where you can sell them. After you sell the plorts, you can spend your money on a few things. The first I mentioned are a couple areas. There's this one called the Grotto, the Lab, and the Overgrowth. Expanding into these new areas is always interesting, and they give you a little more plots of land you could work with. Some of them even have a whole bunch of chickens just running around constantly. I know in the Grotto, it's this huge dark cave where you could store these things called phosphorus slimes, which only like to spawn in during nighttime. So another pretty important thing, as I already mentioned, is the plots of land. On these plots, you could do a few things. One is keep slimes in them by buying corrals, and you could actually upgrade these corrals to keep your slimes from escaping and give them some music to listen to. And if you're lucky, your slimes will actually come to like you. Hopefully. Another thing you could do with these little plots of land is make farms out of them, which is pretty useful because then it becomes a nice little cycle where you grow some food, feed your slimes, make money, and then get upgrades. Which leads into another thing you can buy, not only stuff for your farms, but you can also buy upgrades for things like your health or your stamina for when you run, and even get a jetpack. As far as the very important things you can buy, the last thing is base upgrades, which you get by buying new levels on a club, which kind of sounds confusing. But all you do is go over to your house, access this one little thing called the 7Z Core Club, and that's where you upgrade your house, your base, and sometimes even yourself a little bit. As a new player, there are quite a few things to learn, which can be overwhelming, but the thing I like about this game is that there's no rush to do everything fast, and there's no need to progress super quickly. You can take your time, play the game at your own pace, and really, in the whole game, there's only 2 hostile slimes. One of them is just a hungry slime, which you only find out in the wild, and after you feed it, they leave you alone for the most part. The other is a tar slime, which is created after any slime eats 2 different plorts. And to explain this mechanic, there's a little more into it. Any slime in their base state can eat 1 plort from another slime. After they do this, they become a hybrid of what they originally were and what type of plort they ate. So if a pink slime ate a rock plort, which comes from a rock slime, they turn into a rock and pink slime hybrid, which every hybrid is called a Largo. After they mix, they receive traits from both slimes, the visual aspects, but also whatever they eat. Pink slimes eat anything, and rock slimes eat vegetables. So you could have meat eaters eating vegetables, and vegetable eaters also eating fruit by mixing certain slimes together. After you feed the largos, they will give at least one plort from what makes them up. So one, let's say a rock pink slime, so you get one rock plort and one pink plort. And then if you feed a largo a plort from another slime, they will turn into the ultimate bad guy called the tar slime. They will attack all your slimes and turn other slimes into more tar slimes, kind of like a zombie. And really all you need to extinguish this guy is some water. You just splash them down and they're gone. I'm sorry that was very long-winded, but those are really the key components of what make up this game and what you're doing most of the time. From what I've played, the main point of this game is to complete as much as you can, which kind of sounds stupid now that I say it out loud. But the thing about Slime Rancher is that there's no end boss you have to face, and instead it's more of a completionist paradise. That is, if you like more relaxing games. I found that exploring new areas, finding all, I think like 20 of the slimes that exist, and getting yourself and your base upgraded are the ways you beat the game. Like I said, there's no final boss or screen that says the end, but once you find every slime, once you explore every nook and cranny, and once you upgrade your base and yourself, there truly isn't much more you can do. I think the longest part of the end game would be just getting your slime all automated, which you can only do to a certain extent, but still, that's kind of how you know you reached the end game. It might take you a while to do, but exploration and discovery is where the magic of this game is definitely found. You have to buy a jetpack to search and look for hard to reach areas. There's a couple puzzles where you have to use slimes to unlock more areas of the map, and you have to feed these super large slimes called Gordos so much that they burst and leave behind keys to open doors. The exploration is a very exciting part to this game, and eventually once you do look everywhere, some of this game's magic is lost. Does it automatically make the game unplayable? Well, I guess that just depends on how you like to play games, but if you are big on collecting everything, you will probably continue. Another thing that is worth exploring is the story. Every few days you receive a letter from a past acquaintance, most likely, a past lover or something, who you knew before going off to this other planet and becoming a slime rancher. Now, the short of it is that things are pretty much bittersweet when it comes to the story, but really this game's story is just finding out the backstory to the character you play as, whose name is Beatrix. And before we go on, if you don't want to be spoiled, here's a little spoiler warning, so beware. Skip to this time if you want to skip the spoilers. So through emails from Earth, it's revealed that a special someone named Casey was very important to Beatrix, and they used to have a romantic relationship, but because Beatrix decided to jump into a pretty crazy life and move thousands of light years away from Earth to settle on the far, far range, they have grown pretty distant. They both have things they want to do. Casey is a musician who's trying to find stardom, and Beatrix is in the process of becoming a slime rancher. It's made clear that they didn't go through any crazy drama to make them get so far away from each other, but instead it's more just two people who have their own lives and own paths to follow. The conclusion to the story is if their paths ever cross again, their feelings would probably burn again. And they still have goodwill towards each other. It's actually kind of heartwarming while still being bittersweet, which is the last thing I expected out of this game. In my head while playing, I kind of thought about how this game is similar to Minecraft and how calming and cozy it can be. And also the part where it's really up to you when you decide you don't want to keep playing. The music, along with the colors and scenery of each area, create an atmosphere which is, for the most part, a laid-back experience. If you like collecting things and upgrading things, this game could be right up your alley. Again, it really isn't super big on the action and falls more on the relaxing side, so that's something to keep in mind if you're going to check it out. I also heard that there's a second game, which I'm guessing follows the same formula, but just, some newer slimes, at least from what I saw. Everybody will have their own experience while playing this, but mine was exciting, cute, and also calming. There's a fair bit more to this game than just collecting slimes, and although I found the ranching part of this game enjoyable, it's actually everything else where I had a lot more fun, and where I found myself enjoying it the most. My honest opinion is that this game is at the very least not bad, and at its very best, a magical experience where you can explore a distant planet with many different kinds of slimes, and where new discoveries are meant to be made. This is my first time reviewing a game, so sorry if it bored you at all, but I mean, if you made it this far, I'd at least like to say thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I know I really only upload videos about anime and manga on this channel, but I decided to do something I've been wanting to do for a little while. I think from now on, I'm still gonna keep uploading anime and manga content, and every once in a while, I don't know how often I'll do this, I'll just upload some videos on games I've been playing, kind of review them. I know in this video, a decent section of it was just pretty much a tutorial on how you play the game, but still, I hope you enjoyed it. As you can tell, it has been some time since I've last uploaded, and that's because I felt pretty stunted creatively. But after a little while, my creative juices are starting to flow again. That sounds kind of sick. But I'm ready to make more videos. So if you like anime, manga, or games, stick around because I have some more stuff coming out pretty soon. For now, here's some more videos to watch. Peace.